Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I'm really sorry I haven't got a video out on the channel in the last week. That's very unusual for me. I probably haven't done something like that for a couple of years, but I had a pretty good reason. When I was flying back from Gamescom, there must have been some filthy bugger on the plane who was rather unwell. I picked up a nasty cold/flu, but I'm starting to feel better now, and so let's get back to business. And what better tank to get back into business in than the Object 430. This Tier 10 Soviet medium tank has become one of my favorites in the last couple of months, because when I just want to have some fun at Tier 10, not really care too much, and just go hard or go home, then I really like no other tank than this at the moment. Why is that? Because this vehicle has the highest DpM in the game on any medium tank. That's absolutely crazy. When I have this thing fully equipped, it is 3,792 damage per minute. That's when I'm using a premium consumable. I've got brothers in arms and so on and so forth, with obviously 100% crew, using vents on the tank as well, not coated optics. It really does cut through your opponents very quickly indeed, as we're going to see later on in the battle. But that's not the only reason to enjoy this vehicle. It also has the heaviest armor of the Tier 10 Soviet medium tanks. Many of you players out there who enjoy the T-54 at Tier 9 with that 120mm of hull armor, often ricocheting shells just like that from the Jagdpanther 2, will miss it when you get the Object 140 and the T-62A, which only have 100mm of frontal hull armor. Well, the Object 430 continues the T-54's run of very thick frontal armor and has 120mm. Look how well angled it is. One of the best things about this tank as well is the side part of the armor here is angled, so when you do put it at about 40 degrees, 30 degrees, it can be very effective. And all the way down the side of the tank, it's a bit like a T-22 medium, but only the upper part of the side of the hull, where it's angled in, which can be very useful for just ricocheting shells that people fire into the upper hull part of the tank along here. So if you're engaging one of these beasts, definitely don't allow it to do that. And try to kill it quickly, otherwise it's going to do this to you. Look how quickly we just put in 3 rounds into that Object 140. And the CDC just finishes him off before we're able to take the kill ourselves, or our second kill of the game. This tank fires 9.38 rounds a minute base, with 320 alpha damage. When you think about the 105mm guns like on the SDB-1, they fire 7.5 rounds a minute, and that is a great rate of fire. When you look at many of the Tier 8 medium tanks in the game, for example the AMX CDC behind me, I think, you know, you've got a good rate of fire if you're doing about 240 alpha damage and maybe 8 to up to 8.4 rounds a minute, like we used to have on the SDA-2 before it was nerfed. So I'm making my way back into the cap circle to defend here. We put 1 shot into the E100, we have a very juicy flank here. But the AMX 50B puts 1 round into us, APCR ammunition, 2nd round into us. But luckily he decides to shoot someone behind us. Can we side scrape him? Can we side scrape him? Yes, we can. We bounce 2 shots in there. Now I ricochet the E100 and I make a bit of a misplay here. I thought the E100 was using the big gun, but if I'd been using my ears, then I would have been able to tell that he is actually using the mouse gun on the E100. And so he reloads quickly to be able to put 1 into me. I was hoping he was using that 150, and then we would have had a much easier time not taking that shell and finishing off the AMX 50B. And also make sure you do finish off your targets like that. And when you've got a crazy rate of fire like this, you're very easily able to do so. So this game is certainly heating up here. We're just circle strafing this E100 here, taking him out. And really in this situation, I probably should have been loading heat. That was a really poor decision to try and fire up at the E100's turret there. Remember, it's angled, and also I'm quite a low profile tank. And god damn it, the T10E5 manages to track us. This is going to be very awkward. Quickly, let's see if we can out-traverse that E100. Surely we kill him with this next shot. Ow, how does that ricochet? Right now, I was absolutely panicking, but there you go, the 120mm of frontal hull armor. You do have to aim at this Soviet medium tank. It does go up to about 250mm of effective all-round frontal armor, apart from the front of the side of the tank there. So you really do have to make sure you aim at it. The E100 didn't there, and now we find ourselves into a 1 versus 4 situation. Now you can see why I just love this tank. You do have the DPM to put yourself in harm's way and shoot your way out of it. And when you do make the occasional mistake, then you do have the armor to be able to bounce the shell to keep you in the game. So in this 1 versus 4 situation, now we're going to just try and hunt down our opponents one by one. And it's very important that you do that at the end of the game when you find yourself outnumbered. You have to kill your opponents quickly before they manage to group up. Now, one thing that was very important there is I was spotted by the M41 Walker Bulldog, and I was going to make it look like I was going to drive after him. However, then I changed direction because I really want to take out the softer targets. I want to target the Indian Panzer and the Tiger II on the enemy team at the end of the game, because if I can keep my frontal armor to them, I'm quite likely to be able to bounce them. However, I'm not going to be able to deal with the T125 and the Walker Bulldog if I can't take out what I feel are their support tanks. So there you go, Indian Panzer down. He bounces one shot off us, the Tiger II bounces another shot, and this is just scary for this Tiger II. I feel pretty bad for this guy right about now. We track him, lock him in place, the Walker Bulldog misses us, the Tiger II bounces off twice. See if I can get a shot there onto the T125, and now we're behind the Tiger II. He's locked in place, he can't really depress his gun very well over the back of the tank. But that's one thing to watch out for on the Object 430, is the top of the turret armor is actually not very good, so be careful with that. So we put one into the Walker Bulldog as he's driving away from us. We leave him on 6 health, and I was cursing my luck now on 7,000 damage and 5 kills into this game. And things are starting to look up to me. I've even got 611 hit points left, which should mean that we can take a hit from the T125 to try and secure the cap circle. However, that T125 is on 5 kills as well. It's the battle of the top guns right now. Oh, that's annoying. The Bulldog just manages to catch a glimpse of us as he runs away. That means we're just going to have to take the risk now, and the T125 is going to know where we're coming from. We've only got 22 seconds left in this game. We can't faff around. We have to try and hunt down this T125. We're not sure where he's going to be. He's right in front of us. He puts a round into us, but he kills our gunner, and I don't use a med kit on this tank because I like to maximize the DpM with the improved combat rations. However, we've interrupted him. The Bulldog comes around trying to put shots into us. He's never going to be able to penetrate the front of the Object 430 with standard ammunition there. 175mm of penetration on that APCR round. Not really going to be able to contest this when it's very well angled like that. So we put round into the T125. We finish him. Well, we don't finish him off. We interrupt the cap circle, doing pretty much average damage to him, 319 there. But we've got to watch out now because it is sudden death. Fair enough, I just secured my top gun on the M41 Walker Bulldog, and I'm at 7,400 damage. This was an awesome round for the Object 430. But, you know, I'd quite like to win this 1 versus 4 as well. We've nearly run out of APCR ammunition. Now we're going to be loading some heat in case we have to go through the front of that Tier 10 American heavy tank. And in this situation, in these 1 versus 1s, things can get very tense. It's quite often who shoots first, who wins. And unfortunately for me, while the Object 430 may have crazy DpM, it also has the worst aim time and the worst accuracy on any of the Tier 10 Soviet medium tanks, apart from the T-22 medium, I should say. But that's not readily available. This thing's aim time is 2.3 seconds, and it gets even worse when you take into account that its gun dispersion values are far from excellent. When you're moving, it's 0.14. When you're turning the tank, it's 0.14. And when you're turning the turret, it's 0.12. For the T-62A and the Object 140, we're looking at 0.1 and even below that while moving on the Object 140 with their crazy aim time. And with the dead gunner, it just makes it so much more awkward to pull off those snapshots onto this T-125 like we need to. And he's most likely to be firing heat, and in that situation he's going to be able to go through our frontal armor, and even he can overmatch the top of the turret of the Object 430. And this is one of the key differences between the Object 140, the Object 430 and the T-62A, and that's the fact that they've got very thin roofs that can be overmatched by shells of more than 90mm in the case of the 430, and with the T-62A that's just not the case. And with the T-62A you can feel very safe when you're hull down. Talking about being hull down, this tank 5 degrees of gun depression, the same as the the same as the T-62A, the T-22 medium tank, and even the Object 907. But the Object 140 just specializes with that extra degree of gun depression. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is lots of people are always asking me about the differences between the Tier 10 Soviet medium tanks. Now, if you want to go hull down completely and just laugh as your opponents bounce off your turrets, which is very unusual for a medium tank, then you want to be using the T-62A. However, if you want to be having that slightly faster tank with still got a reliable gun and the extra degree of gun depression, don't mind losing a bit of turret armor, you want to go for the 140. But if you want to be crazy and just have decent frontal armor, a wild rate of fire, but are willing to miss a few shots unless you put them in close quarters combat, then look no better than the 430. Or look no further than the 430, which is the better brawler. So I was not wanting to go into the cap circle here. A lot of people might be wondering, well, why don't you just cap against the T1025? Well, on a small map like Himmelsdorf, we're never going to be able to actually fully cap before he drives across and just corners us. And I really don't want to turn this into a corner fight with a T1025. What I want to do is I want to use my better view range, my better camo, to hopefully spot the T1025 at distance, see if I can shoot him. But unfortunately, he's hiding behind the wreck of our artillery inside our own cap circle. If only that artillery hadn't died there, I think he's been more useful to he's been more useful to the enemy team than our team in this engagement. Oh well, never mind. Now we know where the T1025 is, and luckily he didn't spot us. Hopefully we can get the ambush off on him. It's very likely that a T1025 does have 6th sense though, and so he's got to be thinking, oh, I'm spotted. Where's the Object 430 likely to come from then? He probably is thinking that if I've spotted him, that I'm either here with some kind of crazy camo, or alternatively I'm here. So it's likely he's going to be facing his gun in this direction. So what I want to do is hug the corner in here to maximize the amount of time that he's not going to be spotting me. There we go, he spots me. Is he looking at me? No, he's not looking at me. Quickly react. Take the shot. Dead gunner, and the worst accuracy really starting to show itself now. Come on, just ricochet. There's his ricochet. We've got a second chance, guys. He drives around the corner. Not again. You're kidding me, right? I think I'm going to be able to reload before he does. I have a crazy rate of fire, but it's not quite crazy enough. Talk about sucking the second sock at the end of the game. If any of you know Icon Sindre, you'll know where that meme is from. How unfortunate. I cannot believe that first shell that I fully aimed into the side of his tank didn't hit this gigantic squishy side of the T1025, or even the follow-up second shot was unable to go into the front of his tank. What a heartbreak at the end of the game here. So let's just take a quick look to see where that shell went at the end of the game again. Are you actually kidding me? I can't believe it dipped that bad. However, the second part, I do well here with my side scraping. I earn the second chance, right? I earn the second shot. I wasn't obviously frustrated about the first one. That one, I think, broke me a little inside. I panicked. Look how I was angling my armor at the end. I wasn't angling my armor effectively at all. I should have gone back and side scraped like I was previously, and then I might have earned myself a third chance to be able to take this guy down, right? Nevertheless, this was a great game for the Object 430 and showcased all the reasons why I'm really into this tank right now. And also, congratulations to the T1025 for picking up his top gun at the end of the round there. Oh, if only I got a little bit more lucky, buddy. And I think the conclusion that we can draw from this replay is that sure, DpM is absolutely awesome, and when things are going good for you, you can kill your opponents faster than they can line up in front of you. But also, sometimes maybe you're taking it too far to the limits, and it is better to have consistent aim time and accuracy. And also, one thing that I've been thinking about recently is that when you're playing tanks with a high chance to be set on fire, but you still want to have a premium consumable in them, thus meaning that you have to drop out the medkit, it would probably be wise to be using jack of all trades on your commander. Certainly if you want to avoid heartbreaks like this very often. So still a great result for the Object 430. We get a high caliber medal, a defender, and the top gun. We did 7,463 damage this game, which was over 3.5 times what anyone else on our team was able to do. And because most of this fighting was in close quarters combat, we only missed 2 of the shells that we fired. I must warn you, however, the 430 does exceedingly bad at mid to long ranges at sniping, especially when you have to hit weak points on enemy vehicles. And so definitely keep in mind, while this vehicle might look crazy on Himmelsdorf, which is a bit like a knife fight, it might not do so well sniping on Prokhorovka. Nevertheless, the armor held up really well this game. We received 16 hits, 2,160 blocked by our armor. And this vehicle does excel at beating up lower tiered opponents, as we saw against that Indian Panzer and the Tiger II. If you don't know where to shoot it, it is going to punish you heavily. And we also got a whopping amount of experience, 1,236 base for our loss. We add in the courageous resistance there, gaining 1,854, which is enough to secure an ace tanker in the Object 430. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more awesome brawling action, then simply click through up here here, or use that more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to see a plethora of other Object 430 replays. And once again, a big apology for not releasing content in the last week. I really needed that time off to try and get better faster, and I'm going to be back to my regular schedule, including a live stream tonight, so hopefully I'll see all of you guys there. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Object 430. Do you think the, albeit small amount of DpM increase and the hull armor is worth losing all of that gun handling and accuracy, or do you feel like it just makes the tank so unreliable that it becomes very frustrating for you? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon. So in this 1 versus 4 situation, now we're going to just try and hunt down our opponents one by one.